basin reserves, and integrated meat and dairy processing, among others.
The council also approved the award of contract for the establishment and deployment of advanced web-based reporting tools for the Accident Investigation Bureau at over 553.5 million naira.
This technology is going to aid the Accident Investigation Bureau to be able to communicate findings of accident investigations in a modern web-based format.
Also for the aviation sector, 3.4 billion naira has been approved for the purchase of a property opposite the Corporate Affairs Commission to enable the ministry and its agencies be in the same building for proper coordination as against the rented properties they now occupy. Meanwhile, an upward review has been approved by the council in respect of an existing contract for the construction of Yola, Song, Gombe, Mubi, Gulak 132 kV double circuit transmission line.
This is a 232-kilometer transmission line, and it's so crucial to the ability of the transmission company of Nigeria to wheel power generated by the Indian coast.
The Ministry of Power, Alhaji Lai Mohammed explained, has also been given the permission to refurbish and repair weak and defective circuit breakers for the transmission company of Nigeria at over 409.08 million naira. From the State House at the Musam, NTA News.
Let's head to Kano now, where Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has pledged to consolidate on successes achieved under the federal government's economic recovery and growth plan, if allowed to succeed his principal, President Muhammadu Buhari. He said this during a meeting with APC delegates in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
This is the 21st official visit to Kano by Professor Yemi Osinbajo since when he became Nigeria's vice president in 2015. He came mostly for special events, rejoice or commiserate with the people of the state. It is different this time around as the purpose is political, meeting with APC delegates ahead of the party's presidential primaries. Although it held behind closed doors, his campaign director General Senator Kabiru Ibrahim Gaya disclosed that issues discussed were on giving Kano what it deserves regarding the execution and completion of ongoing capital projects.
We want to improve our industries. If we have gas, that means we will have more gas-powered generators to help our industries, and so on and so on.
He assured that all the development initiatives of the Buhari's administration will be consolidated upon under Osinbajo. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Still talking politics, the All Progressives Congress APC presidential aspirant Bola Ahmed Tinubu has visited Kwara State to woo delegates ahead of the party's primaries. The APC chieftain was received by a large crowd of supporters at the Ilorin International Airport. Raliat Ibrahim has the details. Well, we apologize for that mix-up, and that report will sure bring that of Tinubu in Ilori. Now, the All Progressives Congress has approved a revised timetable and schedule of activities for House of Assembly, National Assembly, governorship primaries, and appeals that may arise from the processes. National Publicity Secretary of APC, Felix Moka, at the end of the National Working Committee meeting said governorship and House of Representatives primary election will now take place on Thursday, the 26th of May 2022. The Senate and State Houses of Assembly primaries will be on Friday, the 27th of May 2022. The Special Convention and Presidential primary will now take place between Sunday the 29th and Monday, 30th of May, 2022.
The election appeals for governorship and the House of Representatives will now take place on Friday, the 27th of May, 2022, while the appeals for the Senate and House of Assembly primaries will take place on Saturday, 28th of May, 2022, while our special convention and presidential primary will now take place between Sunday, 29th and Monday, 30th of May, 2022.
He, however, said no decision was taken on zoning. And then we'll go back to Tinubu visits Kwara to delegates report. It's ready.
Ahmed Tinubu and his entourage were received by Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, State Executive Council members, members of the National and State Assembly, APC members led by the State Chairman Sunday Fagbemi, and a huge crowd of supporters. While addressing party supporters and delegates, the APC presidential aspirant said he is better prepared to chart the path of success and prosperity for Nigerians, promising to use education and social welfare as effective weapons against poverty in the country.
I can mentor your children for a successful future. I can. I believe in it. Because education is the greatest weapon against poverty. I'm standing before you because of good education.
Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak commended the role of the presidential aspirant in ensuring the emergence of the APC-led government in Nigeria in the 2015 general elections and track record of progress when he was the governor of Lagos State.
When he became the governor of Lagos State, IGR in Lagos was about 600 million. Today they are 45 billion. We're trying to achieve in Kwara what Aswaju achieved in Lagos.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu had earlier visited the Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Zulugambari, to receive the monarch's blessings in the realization of his ambition. Raliat Ibrahim, NTA News.
As the All Progressives Congress prepares for its forthcoming special convention and presidential primary election now scheduled to hold on the 29th of May 2022, the party's support groups say they expect quality representation. Saliu Gwanara reports that the Presidential Support Committee promised to mobilize and promote progressive opinion leaders.
Down to the APC primary elections, a cardinal objective of the Presidential Support Committee has been showcased is to uphold its principle of galvanizing support to lay a solid foundation for quality leadership. Sustaining the legacies of past successes and the progressive ideology of the APC government and the current leadership is top priority.
To this end, we have discovered a prominent personality among us who has pioneered the leadership of the organization with such strength that will carry our country to the promised land. Is no way other than His Excellency Senator Godswin Akpabio.
The group pledged to mobilize support for a hitch-free presidential primary in Abuja. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And let's head to Kaduna, where former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has made a case for his presidential aspiration on banner of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, describing himself as a long-standing politician aspiring for presidency for more than 30 years. This, he says, makes him most credible alternative with vast experience to bring PDP back to power at the center. Atiku Abubakar said this while addressing party delegates from Kaduna State, where he asked them to vote wisely during the party's primary election. Suleiman Rugachukwu, how's that?
The mood here is cordial and in agreement with the need for the PDP to have a formidable standard bearer for presidential election. The interaction between the former vice president aspiring for presidential ticket and delegates from Kaduna State is to reach a consensus on his aspiration. He told them that trusting him with the party's ticket will lead PDP to victory in the next year's presidential election.
I pledge to unify this country, to give give every part of this country a sense of belonging. I pledge to work with the state governors that will be elected, the National Assembly, the State Assemblies, so that we can see how we can amend the Constitution and give more powers, resources to the states and the local government.
Stakeholders and some delegates commended the former vice president for his doggedness in entrenching democracy. They pledged to close ranks with other delegates in the country to ensure the emergence of credible presidential candidate. Sulema Rigachku, NTA News.
As presidential aspirants under the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC continue to mobilize support ahead of party primaries, a frontline political group, Fusion 774, is galvanizing high-powered movement for the success of former Minister of Transport, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi. Abakar Akwanga reports.
Fusion 774, a political support group behind the call for Nigerian ambassador to Benin Republic and former Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai to join the 2023 presidential race under the platform of All Progressives Congress APC. This, the group says, the invitation was based on his track records and exemplary leadership qualities which manifested in stemming the tide of terrorism, banditry and other forms of violent crimes in parts of the country. But the general says after surviving the war against enemies of state, delving into political battle will require some time and critical thinking. And the group latest consultations now seem to be favoring the former Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi.
In our meeting with Buratai, he informed us of his decision to lay his support for Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amechi. Also, share our Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, who also share our concern and the readiness to put every mechanism necessary to address the security challenge of the country. We believe patriotism for the country is to make yourself available at any capacity you are called upon to serve.
The aims and objectives of 774 are the same kind of aims and objectives that we believe Rotimi Amechi would equally do. So this is why the group shifted its support to Rotimi Amechi.
The resolve to support Amechi's aspiration, Fusion 774 says, centered on his excellent performance in the transport sector and his uncommon display of capacity for the top job in the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Deepening internal democracy remains the first layer of any participatory process. These are views of critical players in the nation's democratic system. On NTA Tuesday Live, Abubakar Akwanga again has that.
Democracy provides various platforms for critical players to exercise mandate on the direction the internal process of establishing government should take. Now, the understanding of these party men is beyond the concept of grouping to wrestle power and control scarce resources, but deepening a process that is realistic and assuring.
A party must be a democratic institution, both internal and its relation to other political parties, in relation to the electoral process, in relation to the general mass of the people. It must be democratic holistically. Even if you have internal democracy, you are managing your processes and they are working properly, but you are not handling the relationship between you and other agencies of government or other agencies of the electoral process, not in a democratic manner, then it is incomplete.
What makes a party to stop being democratic? That for me is the character of the Nigerian state, where whoever is in power automatically controls the access to the largesse. If you notice the Akintola-Awolowo saga, it was because as Awolowo went to become leader of opposition, Akintola was now the premier of the Western region and then stopped funding the party. So that was where the crisis came, because Akintola was in control of the state resources.
These stakeholders opined that interference with party processes should be minimal and party interest must reign supreme for stability and healthy competition.
I believe that what the National Assembly has done, although it is a lot far beyond their powers, that it has given the parties a lot of discipline, and the question of I own has really reduced. I think that we are likely to soon get to the position where the parties are owned by the people. When it ended up that it is he who pays the pipers that dictate the tune, so you will have those who have stupendous sum of money, they can perpetuate themselves into power and run for election. So the end result is what you will find, that you will find that people who do not have the capacity to run for election or guide the party will be the one in the affairs of the party.
Internal process in every democracy the same may vary, but no doubt that it demonstrates party unity and entrenched stability. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
The need for local government council to create and maintain its own special local government allocation account where all the allocations will be paid into to engender good governance at the grassroots has been advocated. This was the fallout of the interactive session between some local government officials and participants of the Senior Executive Course 44 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in continuation of their tour to Ogun State. Lekon Ambode reports.
With participants of Senior Executive Course 44 2022 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies (NIPS) in some selected local government councils in Ogun Central and East, local government officials read out various challenges restraining the councils from rendering vital services for the people at the grassroots.
We put into the decisions to upgrade a functional roadmap that will assist in restoring the lost glory of the local government in Nigeria.
The challenges militating aggressive governance in Ogun State include lack of autonomy, poor funding, poor irregular remuneration, and poor legal and administrative policy framework.
The team lead, Brigadier General Wowo Dostima Nasiru, says information gathered on local government administration will be compiled and forwarded to the presidency for policy formulation.
Most of the challenges they are talking about are constitutional amendments. They are requesting for more funds and more autonomy in terms of finance and autonomy in terms of administration.
We are going to analyze the information that they have given us towards submitting a very good report to Mr. President.
It's absolutely amazing development going on, especially in strengthening local governance.
The team also inspected some projects executed by the state government in Obafemi Owode, Ijebu-Ode, and Ikenne local government areas of the state, and later paid homage to Ogun State Chairman of Traditional Council and Akarigbo of Remo Land, Oba Babatunde Ajayi, who advocated more roles for traditional institutions.
Because of the enormity of work that we do and the kind of role we play, I think it's a disservice to traditional rulers if we don't have a constitutional backing for what we do.
The week-long study tour to Ogun State continues in Abeokuta. Lekon Ambode, NTA News.
To a bit on judiciary now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has denied the bail application of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The presiding judge, Justice Binta Nyako, gave the ruling in a bail application filed by the council to Nnamdi Kanu. Dele Atumbi reports.
Bail application, which was one of the interlocutory applications on the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, was based on his alleged ill health. Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Mike Ezeokume, SAN, pleaded with the court to grant bail to the defendant, positing that the facility where the defendant is detained cannot take care of his health needs. This application was objected to by the prosecution. The prosecution based its objection on the fact that the earlier bail granted in 2017 was jumped by the defendant. The court ruled in favor of the prosecution and denied the bail application of Nnamdi Kanu. After the ruling, it was time for the prosecution to open its case. However, counsel to the defendant reminded the court of a pending interlocutory application which went to the root of the matter. The application purportedly explained the circumstances surrounding the jumping of bail of the defendant in 2017. The prosecution counsel objected to the interlocutory application, pointing the attention of the court to the fact that the application had been overtaken by events. The prosecution also came up with 6 amended counts. The development would take the defendant to take a plea on the amended counts. However, for trial to commence without delay, the prosecution withdrew the amended charge, which was equally struck out by the court.
We have also brought
our first witness, which is prepared to be filled today. But unfortunately, the defendants, using interlocutory application, stalled the proceedings of today. So we couldn't proceed with the hearing of the prosecution's case on the basis of the interlocutory application of the defendant.
That application shows that Section 15 of the Extradition Act must come into play, which is that Nnamdi Kanu left Nigeria involuntarily.
The matter has been adjourned to 26th May 2022 for ruling and commencement of trial. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Dele. Now, let's take time out at this point, and when News Extra returns, join us for a conversation on a worthy venture which Nigeria and Czech Republic have fashioned out together. Food and agriculture hold sway. What can I tell you? If you love mango like I do, then hang in there for all interesting stories in our next segment. Great to have you back. Czech Republic is bringing to the table $11.7 million, while Nigeria is offering $2 billion as a grant for research and development in technologies to make Nigeria more productive. Abdul Malik has a report that this is coming on the Delta 2 program, which will focus on research areas such as agriculture, mining, industrial development, and general manufacturing for development of SMEs.
Billions of transactions have been conducted globally, but the emergence of science and technology may have simplified it. In 2021, Technology and Innovation Report by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development shows how frontier technologies already present a $350 billion market, which could grow up to $3.2 trillion by 2025.
We are looking at economic diversification through a different approach. First, the solution has to come homegrown solution. In addition, what we don't know, we are not asking others to come and do it for us, but to do it together. In the process, we learn what we don't know.
Now, an opportunity is being presented to Nigerian researchers in the private sector, schools and public institutions to come up with locally grown products that will meet global best and stand the test of time.
We hope and we believe that the experience we have in the technology and the potential with the Nigeria have, we can develop fantastic future for the private sector and the research and development sector in Nigeria, and we can enrich both sides in this cooperation.
The program will follow the concept of applied research, experimental development and innovations, with hopes that Nigerians will utilize the platform for better output. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Abdul Malik, for that. Now, to talk more on this is Dr. Mohammed Ahiru. He is the Chairman Implementation Committee on Technology Transfer between Czech and Nigeria. It's good to have you on News Extra.
Thank you.
Well, we've both watched the report by Abdul Malik, and we've seen we have an idea of what is trying to happen. Yeah. So now, what imports, would you say, of the call for proposals and bilateral, technical cooperation between Czech and Nigeria?
What happened today is very significant for this country, because the Delta 2 program that is being championed by the Czech Republic is a program that brings countries together. They transfer know-how and technology and see how they can boost the capacities of their manufacturing base based on their needs. And Nigeria is the only African country that is admitted into this program. After so much effort we have put in lobbying for us to be there, because normally it is a program between developed countries. We are the only ones that happen to be there based on our size and our importance in the world economy. So what we did today is the official launch for call for proposal, where we are telling Nigerians, enterprises, Nigeria Research Institute, which includes the universities and other independent research centers, to come and apply for this program. In this application, once you are successful and we evaluate your proposal and it is something that is commercial, that has commercial value and is something that can help the country in terms of producing what we need, then you will have access to grants and also access to technology and partners from the Czech Republic so that you can be able to produce such things in Nigeria and then take it to the market.
So even though you talked about some efforts and then you talked about a few benefits that the private sector is going to get, so what should Nigeria expect? I mean, for the both countries now, what are the benefits? What should we expect Nigeria and also Czech to sustain this particular initiative we're talking about?
The Czech Republic will have access to market.
Okay.
They are a country of about 10 million people. They have technology. They can produce almost everything, from the small tiger razor blade we use at home to batter shoes that we used to wear in those times when we were kids. They are all from the Czech. So they produce everything from small razor blade, like I said, to nuclear plants. So with this partnership, Nigeria can have access to any technology that we need in Czech Republic in order to also develop our own competencies. But what we are saying is that it should be private sector driven. It is the private sector that should tell us what the market needs. And from there, we are going to get the Czech partners to come in with the technology and the resources. So as they are giving us the technology and the resources, they are also having access to market. So it is a win-win situation for both countries. At the end of the day, we will stop all this importation that we are doing and the pressure we put on the Naira. And as you know, as in the black market now in Naira is about almost 500 and something. Why? Because we import almost everything we consume. Even though we have the resources, we have the capacity, we have the intellect to produce it in Nigeria, but we don't have the technology. And as you are aware, the difference between developed countries and those that are not developed is technology.
Okay, but what technology are you exactly talking about here?
In the thematic areas that we have signed, we have about 11 thematic areas. Nanoscience and nanotechnology, food and agriculture, food processing and agriculture, mining, transportation, almost every areas that you can find are contained in the agreement. But when we submitted our proposal to the president, he asked us to narrow on 3 areas: agriculture, mining, and SMEs, general manufacturing. So that is the focus of this call for this year. So companies, enterprises, universities, research institutes that are interested in research and development and innovation that can bring about the desired change that we need in Nigeria to start producing things that we consume can apply.
What a worthy venture, I must say. Okay, I wish you all the best and wish us all the best too. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now, 6,000 beneficiaries from Gwenge Ward 1, 2, and 3 in Maiduguri Metropolitan Council have benefited from food and non-food items distribution, as well as cash support in continuation of distribution of relief materials targeted at 100,000 citizens in Borno State capital. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum made a symbolic presentation of the commodities at Gwenge 1 Primary School, Maiduguri, with a call on beneficiaries to intensify prayers for return of total peace in the state. Mohammed Gwani reports.
Professor Babagana Umar Zulum had in April this year plucked up distribution of food and non-food items to 100,000 beneficiaries from Maiduguri Metropolitan Council and Jere, where each male head of household received a bag of rice, while each woman got 10,000 naira, a fabric and sugar. Of the 6,000 beneficiaries, with 2,000 drawn from Gwenge 1, 2, and 3 each. Each of the 3,000 male beneficiaries received a bag of rice, while each of the 3,000 women was given 10,000 naira, a fabric, and a carton of spaghetti, for which they expressed gratitude for the intervention. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum noted improvement in the security situation in the state and expressed optimism that the state will regain its lost glory and the people will return to normal life.
We felt it is very necessary that the urban centers will also be supported because they also don't have the access to food items.
Governor Zulum added that Borno state government provided the cash support and part of the rice being distributed, while the federal government through the Nigerian Customs Service also supported with rice, as well as Aliko Dangote, who provided the spaghetti. Distribution of the commodities and cash support in MMC and Jere, according to the state government, is to reach out to the vulnerable and the less privileged in the two communities. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
With more oil and gas companies pledging to net zero emissions, and indigenous oil and gas company Seplat Energy is taking the lead by turning its goal into action. The top management of Seplat Energy says it is time to zero in on planting a tree for life to protect, restore and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Lydia Samson reports.
The joint planting and watering of an orange tree by these selected personalities is symbolically a pointer to the fact that mitigating climate crisis, sometimes compounded by oil and gas emission and activities, require a multi-sectoral approach. Determined to set the pace in attaining net zero emission, Seplat Energy, one of Nigeria's leading energy suppliers, is driving the country's energy transition towards a cleaner, more reliable source of energy. One way of optimizing its performance to eliminate carbon emission 6 years earlier than the country's 2016 net zero target necessitates the proactive climate action strategy of tree planting in 5 states.
In Seplat, we made a deliberate decision that ESG will remain a very essential component of the way we do business. E for the environment, we protect the environment, and this is also directly related to what we're doing in our midstream.
At the same time as we want to reduce carbon emissions, we need to eradicate energy poverty.
They are unanimous that energy transition must be fair and just, taking cognizance of energy poverty and inequality in Africa.
We are in a conundrum where the world requires hydrocarbons to function, but wants to get rid of it at the same time.
Let me thank Seplat for proving once again that they are a very responsible operator in this industry. Seplat Energy has always demonstrated innovation and resilience.
While acknowledging the global energy shift, various speakers applauded the Seplat Energy Tree for Life example, reiterating that it is the way to go towards mitigating deforestation and encouraging reforestation in the world. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
From energy, let's talk business as the NGX capital market end Wednesday's trading session in negative territory to extend negative streak, while oil prices rise on China demand recovery expectations and supply concerns. Musa Bakr is here with the details on business news. So Musa, it's over to you.
Thank you, Fatima. Let's begin with energy. Oil prices reversed course and fell over 2% on Wednesday after government data showed U.S. refiners ramped up output easing worries of a supply crunch, and as the traders took cues from a drop in the equities market. Reuters reports that Brent crude was down $2.41 at $109.52 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell $2.05 to $109.85 a barrel. Brent settled below WTI on Tuesday, the first time since May 2020, and was still unusually trading at a discount due to strong export demand and tightening U.S. crude stockpiles. Now let's have a quick look at the capital market. The equities market extended its bearish run on Wednesday following the crash in equity capitalization by 0.06% at the close of the day's trading. The all-share index shed 0.07% at 52,721.34 basis points, while market capitalization fell to 28.4 trillion naira. 611.9 million shares valued at 7.4 billion naira were traded in 5,948 deals. The financial services industry led the activity chart with FBN Holdings, Jais Bank and Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC occupying the major sports. That's business news. Fatima, is now yours.
Thank you so much, Musa, for that business package. Now, Chi Limited, one of the largest manufacturers of a variety of juice, dairy milk and yogurt drinks in Nigeria, aside profit-making, says the well-being of its consumers is top priority. This was demonstrated at an awareness gathering to sensitize the public on the importance of consuming dairy milk in Lagos. Diana Jalo reports that the event was part of activities marking the second edition of Chi Limited Annual Dairy Day celebration, strengthening internal democracy.
Statistics by the World Health Organization (WHO) shows that malnutrition is one of the single threat to public health, contributing to 45% of deaths of children under the age of 5. In Nigeria alone, records by the World Health Organization also revealed that about 113.4 million children between age 0 to ages 5 are affected as a result of low weight. To address the prevalent rate of malnutrition in Nigeria, Chi Limited, maker of the popular Chivita juice and Hollandia milk, believe public sensitization will go a long way in changing the narrative.
We have to take the responsibility to educate people on the goodness of dairy. And dairy is such an important part of healthy living, healthy diet, that we need to take that forward within the industry, within the country.
To help to prevent osteoporosis, fractures, and to have appropriate and good bone development.
As a renowned brand, investing heavily in public awareness on dairy nourishment remains priority. Marketing Director, Chi Limited, Toyin Nodi, shed more light on the essence of the event and the theme of this year's celebration, dairy nourishment to support healthy living.
And of course, when we take milk in its various forms, we're guaranteed that we would have the optimum health that we desire, that we need to live good lives.
Dairy products could actually help memory, could actually help orientation, could actually help in the general intellect of an individual. So it cannot be overemphasized.
And I'm a firm believer that prevention is better than a cure, right? So if dairy has all of these benefits, then it's important for you to be able to incorporate it into your diet in whichever ways that you can.
Since inception, Chi Limited has continued to be at the forefront of promoting dairy consumption in Nigeria with different quality products suitable for all. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
The Abuja-Kaduna highway may have become notorious and with a bad name, but no doubt a lot of blessings trail the road. Abdullahi Mohammed brings to the table one of its blessings, the sweetness of mangoes enjoyed in the bushes and along the highway within this period that the fruit is in season.
Mangoes. Each bite of the fruit, a moment only the sense of taste could give a clue. And the bond of friendship at its peak, when the peak of harvest set in. Each stop on the Abuja-Kaduna highway presents you with packs and bowls. Thousands of mango farms like this one behind me are spread along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. And one unique thing about the mango fruit is that each of the seed that you throw away germinates and subsequently produces fruits. And that makes its seasonal harvest in abundance. Some traders will follow the pattern of the harvest buy from the farms and bush picks from boys purchasing it for markets across the borders.
If we get traders from Niger Republic, they buy here. If not, we take to markets along Kano, Katsina, and markets along the borders.
The price of each pack is determined by the fruit variety and demand. A pack of a variety known as apple goes for more than 6,000 naira, and it's the darling of the North African markets.
We take
the fruits to Niger,
we take it to Maradi and different parts of the country. But now, because it's peak of the harvest, we try to sell them here at cheaper prices.
But it's traders not in all cases a smile to the bank for traders like Muawiyah. Some movements of the goods end up and the traders disappearing the market, leaving the goods behind because of saturation in markets and the high probability of the produce rotting.
2 weeks back, I took a consignment of the fruits to Jibia. I later left it there because the market is saturated. I had to borrow transport money to come home. When I got home, I was asked about the consignment. I said I left it there. My brother had 15 bucks of the mangoes. He called me on phone to ask about the consignment. I told him, "You don't know this business."
Even what happens around a small-scale trader like Habib here says a lot about the lack of preservation of the food, leaving traders in huge losses. To some, high on the branches of the mango tree is their comfort zone. But for my crew on the ground, every leak of the fruit reminds us of the boom period in this part of the country, which sets in at the beginning of the rainy season. From Jere, Abuja, Kaduna Highway, Abdullah Mohammed, NT News.
I'm just tempted to travel by route to Kaduna, I must say. Now, the National Agriculture Mechanization Program has designed a program to empower 15 million women farmers across the Federation. Musa Ali reports that women poultry farmers from Kaduna State are the first to benefit from this.
These are women poultry farmers from Kaduna State. 1,500 of them are here to benefit from the National Mechanization Program. They will undergo training on modern technique in poultry keeping, financial inclusion, and entrepreneurship. The initiators say the program was designed to assist the government create jobs, alleviate poverty, as well as help curb food insecurity across the nation.
We are ready and commend to the agenda of Mr. President of the diversification agenda from oil to a non-oil sector to create more job opportunity to the Nigerians and alleviate the poverty.
The applicants are expected to undergo a compulsory 1-month intensive training that covers poultry management, that covers entrepreneurship and financial discipline.
Esther Gaya is one of the beneficiaries.
We appreciate the government, most especially President Muhammadu Buhari, to deem it fit to see the need to alleviate our people. We are grateful, we appreciate him. Also the NAF, we appreciate them too.
We'll have a general platform for the 23 local government, and as well we'll have a platform for me and the 3 zonal coordinators. So I think it will make the communication very easier for us to know and track what is happening at any moment.
The program is targeted at empowering 15 million women in poultry farming. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Thank you, Musa. The Director General of the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, Dr. Yao Idris, has been elected as the new chairman of the Bureau of the African Commission on Nuclear Energy, AFCON, for 2 years at the 5th Conference of State Parties to the African Nuclear Weapons Free Zone, otherwise known as the Treaty of Pelindaba, on Tuesday, 17th May 2022. AFCON is governed by the Bureau Chairman, 3 Vice Chairmen, and the Executive Secretary. It has its secretariat in Pretoria, South Africa. The Treaty of Pelindaba, signed in 1996 and came into effect in 2009, has 41 African countries as state parties, with the African Union AU as the depository to the treaty. The Pelindaba Treaty mandates AFCON to collate state parties' application of peaceful nuclear activities and safeguards by the International Atomic Energy Agency, bring into effect complaints, procedures, encourage regional and sub-regional cooperation, as well as promote international cooperation with extra-zonal states for the peaceful applications of nuclear science and technology. Up ahead, correspondent digs deep into ASU's endless strikes and the phase of the growing quest for foreign studies despite the high cost. Join us for these and more after this next break that beckons. See you in just a moment. Thanks so much for staying. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, has directed a total close down of Dede Building Material Market, Abuja, indefinitely until perpetrators of Wednesday afternoon's riot are fished out. The minister gave the directive while on an on-the-spot assessment of the extent of damages at the market. Onotiaku reports that he was briefed on arrival by the Commissioner of Police, FCT, Babaji Sunday, AMAC Chairman Adamu Abdullahi Candido, and leadership of the market and community leaders. Musa Bello described the incident as a senseless and unwarranted riot by hoodlums who seek to disturb the peace of the territory from a reckless road traffic crash.
Every person should be identified, or else all of us here will not enjoy our businesses. By the same token, all the shops along this road that are creating the traffic gridlock, and I said it 2 years ago when I came here, we are going to repair this road. But first and foremost, everybody is going to restrict his business or her business inside the shop.
He described as insensitive the misinformation making rounds in the social media purporting that there was an ethno-religious crisis in the nation's capital.
If this thing took 3 hours, people moving with petrol cans, putting places on fire, using firearms to shoot, definitely somebody in the community must have noticed somebody. And
4 lives were lost in the riot, with the minister directing security agencies and the community leaders to identify the perpetrators. Now to a bit on education. It's been more than 2 months the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU began its latest strike, which has, as usual, has grounded all public universities in the country, causing instability and uncertainty since 2009, when the federal government had an agreement with the ASU. The union has embarked on strike for cumulative 33 months, trying to force implementation of the agreement. Now, this recent strike is hitting hard, as parents and students alike have voiced out their frustration as the extra time on their studies translates to additional cost in the short term and age-related workplace opportunity lost in the long run. Hadiza Godwin Ebune is digging into the matter, and here is what she found out.
Developing country with high aspiration for social, political, and economic development, Nigerians' hope for a brighter future rests squarely on the quality of the manpower that she produces. But for more than 2 months now, the government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities also has been at loggerheads over issues raised in the 2020 Federal Government of Nigeria / ASU Memorandum of Action. On the part of the government, it says has complied, but the union insists that all demands be met. As the fight rages, it is the grass students in this case that have been on the receiving end. Here at the University of Abuja, there are many victims of the strike. From the dry economic activities that reach you at the once busy entrance to the dead silence of the deserted classrooms. For those who depend on the hustle and bustle of campus to make ends meet, the strike has been a harrowing experience. All this pale in comparison to the fear of some students and parents who insist that time and tide waits for no one.
We are growing older. Some of us cannot even go for service because of the age limit. After that, we go out in the labor markets. They are telling us if you are above 25 years, you cannot be employed. So where are we going to? We have to do something so that we can spend our time in school while getting older.
They also the government, I don't know, they should just settle themselves. If possible, they can end this ASU thing because it's not benefiting the students at all. It's benefiting just the lecturers and the government, and the students are the ones suffering.
An educationist and one-time Commissioner of Education, Kogi State, Dr. Sylvester Onoja says ASU members need to act like professionals in their approach.
Has ASU made the point? Yes. Has government listened enough? ASU should not look only at what they can get and the quality of the universities and all that. What of the quality of students they're getting now? Are they satisfied with those ones? Why don't they also ask that government should look at secondary school and primary schools? Until that is done, we have a big, the sympathy of us, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, they're asking for the right thing. But I think that the future of this country is in danger for lack of patriotism.
All efforts to speak with the chairman of the union, University of Abuja chapter, proved abortive. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Hadiza, for that. Now, remember those old days when exchanging messages with someone takes like forever to reach both ends? Thanks to technology, information is now shared instantly. But that has disadvantaged the channel that served us in those days. Talking about the Nigerian Postal Service. Well, it is making efforts to digitize postcode so as to meet up with modern day digital realities, and is in collaboration with the National Population Commission. Chindama Ndibisi will tell us all about it.
Time was when the post office served every purpose, from exchanging mails to receiving parcels. The mode of operation, analog. Then came the GSM and internet services, and everything changed. David is one of many Nigerians who have substituted postal services for digital platforms, causing a reduction in NIPOST patronage.
I can't remember the last time I went to NIPOST to send letters to someone. Since the advent of technology, everything has been made easier and faster.
Similarly, private courier services began to emerge and more people turned to them. But then there is another snag in quality service delivery for customer satisfaction.
In time of me taking order to a customer location, it used to be hard for me because I may realize that the house that I'm going to or I'm trying to locate, it will not have a house number.
NIPOST has over time introduced different digital service packages as it thrives to meet up with current trends. The task at hand is to transit the existing postcode system, which was introduced in 1986, to our digital platform. The National Population Commission has been able to generate geospatial and demographic data through its enumeration area demarcation exercises, and it comes handy in the postcode digitization process. Both agencies are now in synergy.
The National Population Commission is delighted to share our data set as a primary data to design a digitized postcode frame.
The key benefits of the postcode system: it facilitates easy location and identification of places. It provides seamless delivery of goods ordered through the internet, better response to emergencies by security agencies, thereby reducing crimes.
The Nigerian Postal Service team has received training on how to use the technological tools, as the digital postcode, expected to bring socioeconomic and political gains, becomes a reality. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndibisi, NTA News.
Since the last population and housing census in 2006, that is over 17 years ago, national data users have been looking forward to seeing another exercise that will produce credible population of Nigerians to aid national planning. To this end, the National Population Commission has fixed 29th of June 2022 for a trial census nationwide. The Commission has also inaugurated a situation room called Census Communication Hub to build public trust. Olusegun Adepo has the details.
It counts down to April 2023, when Nigeria will be having a population and housing census exercise has begun. The task of providing the country with a reliable census data is at the center of activities at the nation's apex population governing body, the NPC. The Commission has already promised to make the exercise fully digital and has fixed a trial census for next month to be conducted in selected local government areas across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. This situation room is said to be multifunctional, providing all census activities and critical vital meetings on the census process real-time, as well as interacting with Nigerians to correct misconceptions and receiving feedbacks.
So it's not as if we are assuming or we are hearing that people are not counted in Taraba or in Imo or in Ogun or anywhere. But this time around with the digital census, with the census dashboard, we'll be able to provide you this information live and real time.
And I can tell you, 2023 population and housing census, you will count and you will be counted.
While the National Population Commission boasts of delivering on its 2023 census goal and a transparent exercise, Nigerians have their eyes on the clock, waiting for the end results. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Well, we sincerely apologize for the poor audio in some of the track-ups there. Now, still come on News Extra, a collaboration that points to a better deal for healthcare delivery. Stay tuned for this and more right after this breather. Welcome back. Despite the high cost of studying abroad, the number of Nigerians joining the quest for foreign studies is on the rise. How did we get here? Well, Mobolaji Morimbiri in this report gives an insight into reasons behind education tourism and the general impact on Nigeria.
Nigeria was once an education destination for many foreigners in the early 60s, but that is no longer the situation. Years of institutional decline in quality has in turn led to a mass exodus of young Nigerians to many foreign universities, even in Africa. Apart from the many glaring challenges bedeviling the nation's education sector, a major unique selling point for the unbridled search for foreign admissions is largely tied to status conferrer among the elite. This has continued to boost what is known in the public circle as education tourism.
What were the competition value of education in those days? One of it is that excellence, efficiency, are those things that we look out for. And it has given us the products of the caliber of Nigerians that we had and we are still having in our society today.
It's a portfolio of issues. It's not just one issue that we can say is leading to the education tourism, that policy planning, the issues around industrial unrest in the sector.
Ironically, an attempt by the National Assembly to regulate the increased preference for foreign admissions with its attendant effect on the nation's economy suffered a setback on the floor of the House.
Against any, Benin have it.
This is regulatory. They say, no, you cannot. It's regulatory. It's just giving the ministry the power to regulate. So which means submit these facts. Subject yourself to this scrutiny. If you can pass it, fine. You go.
Then, what is the way out of this academic setback?
To the policy makers, better funding, consistent policy, rather than policy somersault. This administration will be leaving by 2023. We don't know what the incoming administration will do, but there are supposed to be continuity. Situation where this one will come and derail and deviate from what has been agreed on. There should be a blueprint in the education sector.
The hope is that the government will put into consideration the outlined roadmap to better our learning system and to reduce patronage of foreign education. In Abuja, Mobolaji Morimbiri, NTA News.
Now, strengthening the health sector in post-COVID-19 era is top on government priority. This is why the Nigeria Governors Forum is partnering Gavi Foundation to deliver a sound healthcare system. Here, John has the details.
To help children survive and thrive, the health system needs sufficient funding to be sustainable. This is why the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency boards of 8 states in Nigeria are receiving funds from Gavi to strengthen their health systems.
Investing a little above over $50 million. The fund goes into strengthening health systems and primary health care
The intervention is to run from 2022 to 2024, aimed at reducing mortality, improve vaccines, and prevent avoidable diseases.
Recruit more than 2,000 people, health workers like nurses and midwives, as well to do a big procurement to ensure that there are vehicles, motorbikes, boats in Bayelsa to really deliver the services that we need, and as well to increase routine immunization.
Help us to take responsibility, not just us at the health sector, but every player in the health sector.
Following signing of the MOU in February 2022, Bayelsa, Gombe, Jigawa, Katsina, Kebbi, Niger, Taraba, and Zamfara states are in the pilot phase of this initiative. In Abuja, Henry John, NTA News.
So far so good. Let's take our final break and then bring you a bit of sports. Time for sports update.
Part of the reasons for organizing the largest grassroots football tournament in Bayelsa State is apparently yielding the desired results, as scouters from within and outside Nigeria are in the oil-rich state to identify outstanding players in the Prosperity Cup tournament. Stakeholders say over the years, Nigeria has been a home for talented players, and that the crop of talent identified so far will be given the opportunity to apply their trade in Europe and other clubs to pursue their football career.
From Europe and Africa and Australia to Nigeria to look at some of the talented young players. We've observed some very talented players.
The next step is to give them an opportunity, which is recommending
Organizers of the tournament appreciated the state government for the efforts and giving the youth of the state the opportunity to play international football.
A number of our young talented boys will be picked out. I've seen the look on the faces of the scouts, I've seen their jottings and their notes, and I'm very excited and expectant that some of our boys in Bayelsa, in a very short time, will play international soccer abroad, both in Africa, Australia, and in Europe.
About 120 players were invited for the football trial. For sports updates, Simnopri Ohia, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with families over loss of lives in the Sabongari Kano gas explosion, in which 9 casualties were reported, and directed officials to provide adequate treatment for the injured persons. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Shehu, the President wishes the injured a speedy recovery. President Buhari commended the immediate response to the incident by the agencies of the state government, National Emergency Management Authority, the military, police, and other agencies of the federal government. He praised the Almighty to strengthen families of the victims, the government, and people of Kano State. And with that, we conclude the News Extra for tonight, but remember to be a star by connecting to NTA and stand against rape and rapists. I am Fatima Umaruba. It is nice doing business with you. Do enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.